Welcome back to J All Day, everyone. Since all you guys liked that first video I did previewing the entire NLCS series, I'm going to break down Game 1 of the NLCS between the 4th seed Philadelphia Phillies and the 6th seed Arizona Diamondbacks. Game 1 is Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. The pitching matchups for Game 1, for the Phillies, they go with Zack Wheeler, and for the Diamondbacks, Zach Gallen. Over the course of the regular season, their stats are pretty much identical. The pitching matchup should be an excellent affair for both teams. And I want to break down the lineups, who I think could be the potential stars for each team, and where I think the teams need a little bit of work on their lineups. Okay, let's get into it. Both Arizona and Philadelphia come into this Game 1 with a ton of momentum behind them. The Phillies 5-1, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are undefeated at 5-0 in the playoffs. But the Phillies are also 4-0 at home at Citizens Bank Park, so Arizona is definitely going to have an uphill battle, especially with dealing with Zack Wheeler, who has a career 2.59 ERA in the postseason and a .72 WHIP, which is the first of any pitcher with over 8 starts in playoff history, above guys like Bob Gibson and a slew of other Hall of Fame pitchers. Zack Wheeler is almost unhittable in the playoffs, and let's take a look at Arizona's lineup and see how they match up with Zach. Here's Arizona's projected lineup. They're going to go Carroll, Marte, Pham, Walker, Moreno, Gurriel Jr., Thomas, Longoria, and Perdomo. I like Corbin Carroll. He's a great young player. He's only 23 years old. In the regular season, he hit 25 home runs, drove in 76 runs, batted .285 with an .868 OPS. I mean, for a leadoff hitter, it doesn't really get much better than that. And I think the success of Arizona is going to depend how Corbin Carroll and second hole hitter Ketel Marte do in this series. Batting second is Ketel Marte. He had a really good season too. He drove in 85 runs. He batted around .270 with an .840 OPS. And the best part about their first two hitters is they're left-handed hitters going against the righty in Zack Wheeler. And then we go third, Tommy Pham, who is a right-handed hitter. He is not your prototypical three-hole hitter in a playoff lineup. Tommy Pham is 35 years old. He does have a ton of experience, but 16 home runs, a .250 average, .770 OPS is just slightly above mediocre. And then in the four-hole, this is where the Phillies really have to get worried. Christian Walker has the most thunder in this Arizona lineup for sure. Christian Walker, 33 home runs, over 100 RBIs, and that .830 OPS. He doesn't walk a ton, but Christian Walker's got a lot of power. Luckily for the Phillies, he is right-handed. So this Carroll, Marte, Pham, Walker, this is the hardest part of their lineup. Their lineup is definitely not as deep as the Phillies is. The Phillies have great hitters, pretty much 1 through 7 and 8, but for Arizona, maybe 1 through 5 is going to give you really trouble. If Zack Wheeler can do a good job getting these first two left-handed hitters out of the lineup, I think he's going to find a lot of success. Now, let's move on to the Phillies lineup. If you take a look, here is the Phillies lineup. They're going to go Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, Realmuto, Castellanos in the 7-hole, and then Marsh and Rojas rounding out this starting lineup. But I think because Castellanos is so hot in the 7-hole, they might switch him and Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm is only batting .190 so far in the playoffs, so that's not going to get it done, man. You can't have a 4-hole hitter who's struggling when you got a guy like Castellanos who's absolutely lighting up everything. He had back-to-back games with 2 home runs. That has never happened before in playoff history, so you kind of have to ride the hot hand here. And I look for Rob Thompson to flip Alec Bohm and Nick Castellanos. In the last game with the Braves, Castellanos was in the 7th hole, but I think he will suit this lineup a lot better batting 4th. And another guy the Phillies have to get going is Kyle Schwarber. He's currently batting .160 in the first 2 series of the 2023 playoffs, and that is not going to get it done for a leadoff hitter. I mean, it's really hard to set the table when you got a guy batting .160. He's not really hitting for any power. Kyle Schwarber hasn't really squared any balls up in the first 7 games in the 2023 playoffs. So the Phillies are going to have to, either ride with him, kind of struggling mightily. Luckily for him, he's going to see a lot less left-handed pitching in this series versus the Diamondbacks than he did against the Marlins and the Braves. So who do I think is going to win Game 1? I like the Phillies at home. It's really tough to play in Citizens Bank Park, especially because Arizona has a very young team. That place is going to be way louder than Arizona Stadium or where the Dodgers play. That stadium doesn't get that too loud at all. So I think the pressure is going to mount on some of these younger Arizona hitters, especially when you're facing guys like Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola in game 2. So my projection, I like the Phillies to win this game 7-3 and go to game 2 with Aaron Nola pitching with the upper hand in the series. For Arizona to have a chance in this NLCS series, they're going to have to win at least one game in Philadelphia. The Phillies are 4-0 at home so far in this postseason, so that is going to be an uphill battle. But they cannot go back to Arizona 0-2. And then they have 3 games at home. So they pretty much have to win all 3 games at home to set up a chance for them to win the series, because then we go back to Philadelphia for games 6 and 7. I hope you guys enjoyed my little preview. I like the Phillies in this game. I think Zach Wheeler is a little bit better than Zach Gallen, and I think the Phillies lineup is just too deep. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe.